You know, the Bible says, let patience have its perfect work, and you will be complete, lacking nothing. Wow, that's a mouthful. Let's break this down. Okay. Before we tackle patience, we better go all the way to the end. Yeah, sometimes if you know the end, it's a lot easier to deal with the rest of it. So, lacking nothing. Lacking nothing. No lack. No lack. That sounds great. That sounds great. That is wonderful. Like, as I wonder what that would look like. That, I mean, come on, bro. That's, yeah. Sign me up. Lacking nothing. Do you have any lack? When you look around in your life, is there something where you're like, man, I could use, another bag of rice. If I had this, I could do that, but I don't, so, So, let patience have its perfect work. Okay, so what am I doing? Here's the patience. I'm going to let it. Okay. Not sure what that is. Probably something like waiting without complaining and making a fuss about it. Okay, let's go with that. So being patient. No. I'm letting patience. I'm not even being patient. Like, I'm letting patience. Okay? Let patience have its perfect work. So the work here is patience. Patience is doing this. I'm letting it, the patience, have its perfect work. So patience is working. I'm not working. I'm letting. There's a lot of freedom in that. A lot of freedom in that. I'm not God. I'm not God. It's not my responsibility. Sometimes you come home from work or whatever, and your wife's like, you want to know what happened at this house today? With that in mind, you better get these kids. You want to hear about my day? Oh, man. So sometimes I'm like, God, hey, get your kids. Because I'm the bride of Christ, right? So, hey, get your kids. Oh, help me, Lord. So if I let patience have its perfect work, I will be complete and lack nothing. Lacking nothing. So what's going to happen in this deal is when you pray for patience, you're going to have an opportunity to be patient. And if you've ever drove a truck, especially hauling food, you'll go to like Walmart and they'll have some crazy thing. Be here at 2:13 a.m. 2:13 a.m. Are you serious right now? So you show up or whatever, you get to the guard shack at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and you're like tired, and then they sign you in, do your stuff. They're like drop the trailer and door 237, and then bring your truck back around, park in this section, walk in the building and check in here, give them this paper, whatever. So down from the guard shack, and then they hand you a map that point it all out to you. So it's like, you've never been here before, so you gotta go figure this out. You gotta back into a spot, open the doors, get it all, good to go, dolly down, remove the airlines, get out from underneath it, drive around to the bobtail section, find a spot, park the truck, do the ELD stuff, grab your paperwork, walk in the building, and now you walk in there, and this lady behind this desk, you hand her the stuff, how you doing, ma'am? And she says, oh, this says you're supposed to be here at 2:13. It's 2:43 now. You're late. This will have to be a work-in, and there's a $200 fine for being late. Ma'am, I was 15 minutes early. No, it's 2:13. You have to be here at my desk. Well, nobody told me that. Well, that's the way it is. your work in now. And now you got to sit there for 7.5 hours. The pre-planned backhaul that you're supposed to be able to drop this off because you have an appointment, you figure 2 hours, it's an hour drive time to the next one. So you give like 4 hours, so like from 2 and 4 is 6. So you scheduled this pickup at the next shipper at 7 a.m. Well, now you're not unloaded for 7 hours, which is 9:45 plus an hour drive. You get over there at noon. Now the next load is like you're late, and you are late. Sometimes you lose the load. So everything's squirreled up, and you got to not complain. The load to Walmart, which paid you $4,000. Now the backhaul was going to pay you $3,000. So you're just sitting there, and you're tired, and it ain't the first time this has happened. And your clock runs out. So now you're past your 14, so you got to do a 10-hour break. And they say, well, you can't stay here. So now you have to drive illegally to a truck stop. And that messes up your clock some more. And then once you get to the truck stop, you got to start your 10-hour break to make all this stuff legal. So you lost $3,000. See, there's a lot. Being a truck driver will test your patience. But if you let patience have its perfect work, you will be complete lacking nothing. Okay, so now the next time I go to Walmart, I know this is possible. I'm going to show up early. You get there early. You're like an hour early. They check you in and everything. You get to the desk. They say, oh, well, you got to the gate more than 45 minutes early. So we're going to dock you $200 for showing up early. Are you even close to serious right now, lady? And I mean, you want to kick the cat, spin the floor, steam blows out of your ears. You know, you do not need Q-tips. The wax is gone. Your blood pressure has elevated to critical levels. And they're like, this is why truck drivers have a stroke. Anyway, if you let patience have its perfect work, you will be complete lacking nothing. Now, in these moments that this happens or whatever else like that, at a certain point, you're just like, okay, are you going to unload it? They're like, yeah, but blah, 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 blah. And you're sure. It's like one of the Canadians on South Park. They're just like flapping, and they'll be like, we'll call you when we're done. Cool. I'm going to go back to the truck. I developed a system I call aggressive waiting. So I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to kill my time. Time is a constant. Time is unforgiving, so I don't want to waste it, right? So I'm either going to get rest, or I'm going to focus on making a YouTube video, being a better content creator, read the Bible. How can I be a better witness? Whatever like that. So that's where aggressive waiting come from. And now years later, I go there, there's some delay, some hassle, whatever. I have a flat, whatever. I've had hundreds, if not thousands, of opportunities to witness to people in the downtime. The gospel is spread throughout the nation. For sure. A lot of it's documented. Like, I really did, like, you know, make a video and talk about it type of deal. You know what I mean? Like, it's amazing. It's amazing. And it's fun. And now, instead of sitting there all puffed up, well, it should be like such and such, you know, Karen's dad. You know what I mean? Like, all the freak out, you know, might warp you upside the head with a split ball handle, you know, and then that leads to jail. And then now, like, you're mad about waiting? Oh, yeah, you want to complain about it? And then insert dad joke, went to prison for slapping somebody upside the head with a split ball handle. Guess what you do in prison? You wait until they open the door. And sometimes that's 10 years. So now, since you failed the test of patience, you get to take the test again. And the next time it's harder. Because you need it to be harder so you'll get more emotional so that you'll have the right action. All right, that's patience. Raquel, go get them.